Have you ever had that feeling where you're just kind of floating through life? You're going through the motions, maybe you even feel a little numb, and you tell yourself, hey, I'm just chilling, I'll get serious later. Well, we're going to dive into a really powerful and honestly a pretty challenging idea that might just change how you see those in-between moments for good. So let's get into it. And this is it. This is the core idea we're exploring. The argument here is that we're never actually just standing still. I mean, think about it. You're either intentionally moving toward who you're called to be, or you're unconsciously drifting away from it. There's just no safe middle ground. That feeling of being parked, that's not neutral. That's drift. So first things first, let's really diagnose this problem. What exactly is this drift we're talking about? And why is the whole idea of a neutral gear in life just a total myth? Okay, so here's the official definition we're working with. Spiritual drifting. It's basically living your life on autopilot. It's when your attention, your choices, even your emotions are being dictated by whatever is loudest in the room, your phone, your cravings, the opinions of other people, instead of by your own conscious, intentional direction. Now, this is a game changer when you really let it sink in. Every single scroll, every show you binge watch, every time you hit snooze and say, I'll do it tomorrow, none of that is neutral. It's all practice. You're casting a vote for the person you're becoming, one tiny action at a time. And that, of course, leads us to the most important question of all. If every small action is a form of training, who are you training to be? Are you training to be the sharper, stronger, more focused version of yourself? Or are you training yourself to be a little duller, a little weaker, and a lot more distracted? I love this slide because it lays it all out so clearly. On the left, that's the life of drift. You're being led. The algorithms have the steering wheel, your urges have the steering wheel, fear has the steering wheel. And here's the crazy part. Drifting doesn't make you free, it actually makes you really easy to control. But on the right, that's direction. That's about you taking back authority. You choose your focus. You make intentional choices. You decide who you are. Man, this is so good. So often, we mistake numbness for peace, right? We think, well, I don't feel all that anxiety or that nagging urgency anymore, so I must be doing okay. But what if it's not peace? What if it's actually just a form of spiritual amnesia? You haven't fixed the problem. You've just turned the volume down on the part of your soul that's trying to tell you you're meant for more. All right, so let's move into our next section because this state of drift, it is not harmless, not at all. It comes with a hidden and frankly a very high cost. And here are just some of those costs, laid out plain and simple. Drifting wastes your time, makes you controllable, and it reinforces your absolute worst habits. I mean, think about it. It's the perfect environment for old addictions to come roaring back to life, because nobody ever accidentally becomes healed or holy. But people accidentally slide back into their old chains all the time. I really want to pause on this one for a second because this reframe is everything. We say it all the time, right? I'm just killing time. But the reality is time is passing no matter what we do. Every single hour we spend drifting is a permanent loss of the potential we had in that hour. The person you could have been becoming in that moment, they just disappear. Forever. So here's the bottom line. You don't get to avoid discomfort. That's not one of the options. You just get to choose your pain. You can choose the sharp, temporary pain of discipline today, or you can choose the dull, chronic, and so much heavier pain of regret tomorrow. Drifting is simply choosing the pain of regret over and over and over again. Okay, that's the diagnosis, that's the warning. But what's the solution, right? The good news is we have an incredibly practical, actionable framework to fight back. So let's get into what's called the No Drift Protocol. The whole thing is built around this super simple, really memorable structure. This isn't about some massive life overhaul you have to do overnight. Nope. It's just about 3 intentional checkpoints during your day to make sure that you are the one at the wheel. All right, so first, in the morning, you point the ship. This is all about interrupting your default pattern. Before, and I mean before you reach for your phone, just take 2 minutes, sit up, breathe, maybe speak a single sentence of intention for the day or read one single verse of scripture. The goal is so simple. Just start your day deciding instead of reacting. Next up, midday. This is when you check the current. It's like a quick 5-minute audit of your soul. Just ask yourself these simple questions. How does my body feel right now? What thoughts are just on a loop in my head?
Do I feel connected to my purpose, or do I feel totally disconnected? This isn't about judging yourself. It's just about awareness. It gives you a chance to course correct before the whole day is lost to drift. And finally, in the evening, you land the plane. Look, our willpower is at its lowest at night, which makes it prime time for drifting. So the idea here is a simple shutdown ritual. Set a hard boundary with your tech. Maybe the phone goes away at 9 p.m., no exceptions. Then take a moment to reflect. Maybe you review 3 small wins from the day. It's all about preventing you from drifting away when you are at your most vulnerable.
But what about in the heat of the moment? When you're already mid-scroll, you're feeling that pull of an old habit, or you're just completely zoned out. There's a tool for that too.
It's the Stop Drift Protocol. 3 easy steps. First, you just name it. Say it out loud. Right now, I'm drifting. It sounds silly, but it totally breaks the trance. Second, just choose the next 10 minutes. Don't worry about the rest of your life, just the next 10. And a powerful question to ask yourself here is, what would I do right now if God were sitting right here next to me? And then just go do that. And third, take one tiny concrete action that proves to your own brain that you are not powerless.
Now, as you start doing this stuff, you are going to change. And this quote, this is your permission slip. You are allowed to outgrow the person you used to be. You do not have to stay relatable to the version of you that was totally content with drifting. Growth is the whole point. And so we end with this. That version of you, the healed you, the disciplined you, the spiritually sharp you, that person isn't some fantasy. It's a real possibility, and it depends entirely on the small decisions you make, starting right now. Drifting is a betrayal of that future self. And so the only question left is, will you stop floating, and will you start fighting for them today?